Hi, I wanted to share with you a few things that I've done in Docs that I think is pretty cool. One is the option and ability to create surveys, and the second is to create a quiz for your students, just a simple comprehension quiz. So the first image you see here is an introduction forms that I asked my students to fill out the first day of class. Things I wanted to know was what email address they preferred, if they own their own computer, what operating systems. I asked about iTunes account because we're doing a project with the iPad, so I wanted to know what kind of background information, so I asked them about their email usage, what other types of mobile devices they have experience with, and that sort of thing. The other thing I've done is I created a quiz, and you'll notice here it asks their name, and then questions that are just straight comprehension that they should be able to do from taking their self-study quizzes from Mike Markle's textbook. So how did I go about doing this? First of all, I went to Google Docs and I logged in with my Gmail account. If you don't have a Google account, you can quickly create an account now. It's really easy. It's not a problem. And oops, I put in the wrong password there. So then from here, after I've logged in, I just went over here to create new, and I created a new form. So this form is really easy. You can quickly give it a title. I'm going to call this Chapter 2 Quiz, even though we're not reading Chapter 2 in my class for a few weeks. And then here in the box below, you can include any text to help people fill this out. For the quiz, I left this blank. For the survey, I think I gave it a brief introduction. For each question, you can ask all sorts of questions. And so you can just type in your question here, and then this box provides any help text you want. For questions, you have multiple options. You can have text, which gives them a short answer box, or you can give them paragraph where they're encouraged to fill in more text. You can also create multiple choice, and so option 1 here, option 2 here. If I could type. Alright, and so forth, so you can keep adding. For checkboxes, you can actually, this gives them the students the opportunity, or users the opportunity, to select multiple options and then choose from a list. What this will wind up doing is making a drop-down box so they can choose a whole bunch. You can require this question or not. For the quiz, I did not do this because I figured if a student did not want to answer, I was not going to make them. For the survey, I made most of the questions required. And then you click done, and there's your first question. You see I left it on drop-down box, so that's the option there. And then question 2, you can hover over it and click the little edit button, the little pencil here, and you can edit it. And then after you're done with the first 2 questions and you've added them, you can add more questions up here. One thing you'll notice I forgot to do is if you want to know their name and who is filling it out, I'm going to add a text question, full name, and make this one required. Done. You'll notice it's the bottom one. I'm just going to click and drag it to the top. So now the full name and then whatever question 1 and question 2, and I can add as many questions as I want. I'm going to make sure I save this. Save early, save often. And then you can click on email this form and you can email it to anybody you want. I prefer to just email it to myself. And then you can include the form in the email or not. I prefer not to, just so I receive a quick link, and then you can click send. Then what I wind up doing is I get that email in my inbox with that link, and I copy that link, and at the beginning of class what I did for the quiz was I copied that link over, went into Angel, our course management system, and emailed all my students a link to that quiz. So that's what I did to set up the quiz. And then once I've had my students email the quiz, and we spend the first about 10 minutes in class them taking the quiz, I jump over here after class, I log into Google Docs, and then refresh this page. Here's the Chapter 2 quiz that I just created that really has nothing on it. So I click on that once I'm in Google Docs. And you'll notice here, here's the list of the questions, and if your questions are really long, they'll kind of expand down here. And you may or may not be able to speak, depending on how long these are, you may or may not be able to see the responses, but I don't care to interact with this on Google Docs. What I'm going to do, well, first, just notice right here there's a number. This tells you how many people have responded. Of course, none have responded to this, I just made it. From here I can go to File, Download As, and then download it as an Excel file. And then I can save that file to my computer. I'm going to click Cancel because I don't really need this file. But you can save that file to your computer and you can open it up. And what you'll get is a file with all the answers underneath here filled out. And if you included a name, you'll have the name with it, and you can see everything they put in, whether this is a survey or a quiz. And you can just quickly go through and grade it to see if they got it right or not. So this is just one option for either a survey or a quiz. Another quick feature that you might be interested in is there's a button here called Show Summary of Responses, which is actually kind of useless for this one, but what that can do is give you some pie charts if you have multiple choice questions. It's useless for this one because I don't have any answers in here, but it can summarize the answers and you can get a pie chart of answers. This is particularly useful if you have, say, a survey and you're wondering how many of your students have experienced blogging before, how many of your students have created a resume before, how many of your students have done all sorts of stuff before. So that little button is useful. So that kind of runs through how you might use Google Docs for creating forms for surveys or quizzes in your class. Please feel free to email me if you have questions. My email is actually right here, so you can see it. All right, thanks a lot.